Breaking news from overnight, the U.S. State Department has issued a worldwide security alert following the U.S. military strike in Iran. The warning advises Americans to take caution, especially if they're traveling overseas. The agency says there could be demonstrations against Americans and U.S. interests abroad. Homeland Security is also warning Americans of potential cyber attacks or lone wolf attacks in the U.S. Retired four-star Army General Barry McCaffrey lives in Washington State and calls these strikes hugely impactful. The highly decorated combat veteran served on former President Bill Clinton's cabinet. Maddie White with our Seattle sister station spoke to him about what could happen next.
I think the obvious answer would be that in the next 3 days we'll see an Iranian counterstrike of some sort aimed at the U.S.
Is the U.S. now at risk for a terrorist attack on domestic soil? Retired Army General Barry McCaffrey says it's unlikely.
It could happen. It would be a political disaster. An equally bad outcome would be a strike against U.S. military forces that resulted in significant casualties.
If either of those happen, McCaffrey says things would get ugly for Iran.
There will be undoubtedly a devastating aerial campaign run against them.
But he says the U.S. currently has the military power to deter a counterstrike.
In particular, the Navy now has 2 carrier battle groups in the area, and they're bringing in a third one.
America's leverage, he says, includes its ability to influence events inside Iran.
We could bring them to their knees in a 90-day to 180-day campaign.
It's hard to tell what'll happen next now that the U.S. has bombed Iran's key nuclear sites.
Undoubtedly, we're devastating to their ability to move to a nuclear weapon, which they would do without question within a year.
But McCaffrey says he hopes to get weapons control inspectors back into Iran.
I hope it ends up in a negotiated settlement and that Iran gives up its 30-year quest to achieve nuclear status.
And new this morning, the USS Nimitz, which is homeported in Bremerton at Naval Base Kitsap, has reportedly been routed to the Middle East. Stay with KREM 2 as we continue to monitor the situation.